here in the Silver Dollar Saloon that had just ridden into town, and he told me that he had seen old man Sutton, better known in these parts as simply old Grandpappy, and that passel of youngins of his headed up the mountain toward Gunfight. Now, if this is true, we can expect trouble here today of the worst kind. You see, it all started about 6 weeks ago when Grandpappy's youngest boy, Buford, came to town, got drunk in the Silver Dollar Saloon, and went out and stole a horse. Well, the marshal arrested him and put him in jail, and after a short but fair trial, mind you, he was found guilty and sentenced to hang. So bright and early the next morning, we had us a hanging right here at Ghost Town. Naturally, that didn't sit too well with old Grandpappy, and he sent word back to Ghost Town that just as soon as his rheumatism would let him sit amused, that he was coming back here to get that bright shiny badge the marshal wears, and that tall black hat belonging to Digger the Undertaker, because he's the one that robbed and planted his youngest boy. Now, he promised Ma he'd bring these things to her. And if they're coming, folks, you'll be able to hear them long before you see them. They'll be fussing and cussing and feuding and fighting with one another all the way. That's the kind of folks they are. Sounds like them now. Well, I wish you good people would look for the truth at the end of that street. You see that old man all bent over in that long black coat? That's old Grandpappy, and that's got to be the worst case of rheumatism I've ever seen. Grandpappy. I said Grandpappy.
Yeah, I hear you. What do you want?
You'd better hear me, and you'd better hear me good, old man. You better take them youngins on back home to that cove before you get them all killed.
Skills? My boys got lots of skills. They're skilled in hunting and trapping and fishing, eating and stuff like that.
I didn't say skilled, old man. I said killed.
Yeah, whatever. We ain't going nowhere till we get that badge on that. Why are you pushing me? That funny looking Undertaker.
Well, Grandpappy Al Marshall said he's going to defend that badge of his. And Digger the Undertaker has promised to back him up all the way. And there's Marshal Hayes Cooper now at the end of the street by the chapel. He and Deputy Lake. But you know what? I don't see any sign of that brave Undertaker anywhere. Hey, Grandpa, can't you see that young'un don't want to fight?
Oh, he's just extra special good at hiding his feelings. He's just a busting the fight.
Oh, he's just busting the fight, is he? Is that why you just busting his rear end with that stick?
Well, that's as high as I can reach. I can't get him in the head.
Why don't you take them boys on back home? You've lost one young'un here already.
Lost one? Where?
I'm not talking about today, you old fool. I'm talking about the one that got hung.
Hung? Well, of course he got hung. That marshal down yonder hung Little Beauty. That's what we're here for.
Why do I have to fight? Why can't Soldier fight?
Well, you're smart and fast, and he's just smart. So you go down there and deal with it.
Is that what I'm doing?
If he's the smart one, I'm the thin one.
Marshal, you the one that hung up my little brother?
Marshal Billy wants to know if you're the one that hung his little brother.
I hung your little brother. I'm gonna stretch that neck of yours too, boy. So what are you gonna do about it?
Billy, he said he hung your little brother and he's going to stretch your neck too. Now, what are you going to do about it?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to go home and tell Mom.
Oh, he's going to go home and tell Mom. Well, well, it looks like our brave Undertaker has finally shown up. Digger, is that how you planning on backing up the marshal?
I got his back.
You got it covered all right. If you had it covered any closer, he'd be wearing you for a shirt. Look, they brought you a hanging rope, Marshal.
What about that rope, squirrel?
I'll stretch your neck with it, Marshal. Get that vulture back out.
You ain't stretching nobody's neck. Now, Grandpappy, I ain't gonna tell you, but one time, get them youngins out of town.
Now
better get them youngins out of town.
My face and talk nice to me.
I'm gonna get you, old man.
No, you buzzard! I'm gonna take that hat home to the old woman. I'm gonna take that badge off your chest too, Marshal.
You ain't gonna get nothing. Get him out of town.
Oh, I hate to be pointed at like that. You gonna let him do that to us?
Absolutely not.
Boys, take care of him. I'll get out of the way.
Wait a minute. No.
Hey, Grandpappy. Bugger's out of bullets. What do you want him to do besides throw out? Dynamite!
I'll take care of him.
Grandpappy, you idiot!
Hey, give it to me. I don't want that! Here, take this! Somebody take it! Look out! Here, bugger! Take his pistol, get him!
Grandpappy, looks like all your young'uns are down.
Get up, boy!
I don't think that young'un's getting up, Grandpappy.
Get up, Easton.
I don't think that one's getting up either.
Oh, you got squirrel. This is Ma's third favorite youngin.
Oh, this one was Ma's favorite.
Oh, he had hair just like his dear old Ma.
Good hair, just like his dear old Ma.
Dirty.
Dirty. Marshal, deputy, you better watch that old coot. No telling what he has underneath that long black coat. Looks like Grandpappy was no match for the law in this town. Oh, you told him you'd get him all right, Diggers. That's why you were hiding behind the marshal with your head in the dirt. Well, check that man out. How about him, Digger? A squirrel yours?
Yeah, squirrel mine.
He's Digger. We'll get him folded up so you can get him in a pine box. Folks, Digger gets $15 for each man he buries in Boot Hill. And it looks like you're going to have to roll Grandpappy over. Now, Digger, that's just that old hard liquor he's been drinking.
I got it.
Digger, you gotta stretch him out so you can get him in a pine box. Pull out on his feet.
I got a hat. I got a hat.
Grandpappy got that dog like hat he came to town for. After all. Now, Digger, you gotta stretch him out so you can get him in a pine box. Roll down on his shoulder. Well, pull back out on his feet again. Digger, you gotta stretch him out. You can't get him in a pine box like that.
I buried the rocking chair.
No, you're not gonna bury him in a rocking chair. Looks like our greedy other is gonna need help stretching Grandpappy out.
Would you hold his shoulder? No, you don't.
That has got to be the worst case of rheumatism I have ever seen. Folks, we've all witnessed here today one hard-headed, stubborn old man with a heart full of hate and set in his ways come to town and managed to get himself and that whole passel of youngins of his killed. Ordinarily, our parsons would come out to say a few words, but he's out riding the circuit, so the neighborly thing to do would be to take our hats off and observe a moment of silence. On your feet!